17 on a Tuesday morning. We start off the week with a very special announcement. A very special guest is dropping into the KTWO Radio studios is Senator John Barrasso. Senator, good morning to you.
Great to be with you, Brian. You know, the weather really yesterday for Memorial Day services, both at the cemetery here in Casper and as well as the sunrise services in Douglas, was amazing. To see the flags blowing in the breeze in both places. So many people came out. The standing room only at the chapel here in Casper, the cemetery in Douglas, surrounding the place, and then a breakfast at the American Legion. People all around the state continue to really show up every time that we want to thank and pay tribute to our military.
You bet. I know you had a busy weekend. You were all over the state this weekend, weren't you?
Well, Bobby and I traveled quite a bit, and we're going to be in Cheyenne a little later today. It's also Bobby's mom's birthday today in Thermopolis. Bobby's going to try to get up there for dinner. We had a lot, but it's wonderful to visit with Wyoming people. People say, "How are things in Washington?" I say, "It's always better in Wyoming. Always. You get to, be at home anywhere in the state. You're home. You're talking to friends. You're hearing things that they want to share with you. You're hearing about their families, their loved ones, and their life."
Yeah, you sound a little hoarse this morning. You sound, you okay?
I'm
Allergies, suffering a bit of something?
I try to mostly listen, but my wife reminds me that sometimes I talk a little too much.
In talking, you've got a lot of talking to get accomplished today. As a matter of fact, a big day for you as you've got an announcement to make today.
I'll be at noon at the state capitol at Max Maxfield's office, and we'll put in the filings to run for re-election to the Senate, but people get the news first here with Brian Scott at 10:30 in the AM dial, so I wanted to be here first. And to me, filing the out is just to me like putting in an application for a job. Elections are not about rewards for past activities; they're about the future. And so this to me is applying for a job, and I hope to spend the next months traveling around the state, listening to people and asking for their help, their support, their vote, as I hope to get the job.
And at the same time, as you know, you are judged on your past performance and what you have accomplished over the course of the past 4 years. Are you comfortable with what has been accomplished in Washington? What you've been able to get accomplished? What you've been able to do?
I don't think anybody in Wyoming is comfortable with what's happened in Washington over the last several years. So the answer is clearly no. I continue to talk about the things that people in communities wake up like you do here and say, what do I need today to do to make life better for people at home in Wyoming? And when I'm in Washington, Mike Enzi and Cynthia and I wake up in the morning saying, what do we have to stop from happening here in Washington so it doesn't make life worse back at home in Wyoming? And traveling around talking to small business owners who want to put people to work, the regulations coming out of Washington. These aren't actually laws that have been passed. This is a reinterpretation of laws from the past that they come out with new regulations and say you have to do it this way. It's impacting our energy here in Wyoming in terms of coal, oil, gas, uranium. And so those things continue to be fights that we engage in on a daily basis. But I plan to run a positive campaign, visit with people, listen to what they have to say, and take that message to Washington. And the message, for the most part, is to Washington, leave us alone.
Yeah. At the same time, that message also has to be quit spending so darn much money. As you are one to point out on a pretty regular basis, it's not a budgetary problem here, other than the fact that Washington is spending too much money. They don't need more; they just need to quit spending so darn much.
Boy, you could be the candidate here. That's exactly right. Our problem isn't that we're taxed too little; it's that we spend too much. And just in the time we've been on the air, the United States has had to borrow another $10 million, borrowing $2 million a minute, just to keep up with the spending. And you go to any junior high, or middle school or high school, and I do that, travel with, and you ask the students who are we borrowing from, the hands all go up, they say China. How do you stay a strong and independent nation and a leader of the world if you owe that kind of debt to anyone? And so we have a $15 trillion debt, over a $1 trillion deficit. John Kennedy was, he said today on the news, he would have been, 95 today.
Right.
When he was president of the State of the Union, he said that persistently high deficits, he said would hurt us in terms of economic growth and in terms of our military and defense abroad. The deficit that year when he said that was $7 billion. today's deficit is 200 times that amount. We're only talking 50 years. So, you're not even talking, you're talking about much, much faster than inflation and than anything. The problem is the spending, and we need to get the spending under control. And clearly I've battled the president on this. He has a different view of what he calls investing, what I call spending. And that's where the people of Wyoming know the problem. In Wyoming, we balance our budget every year. We have to. The Constitution demands it. We need a constitutional amendment to the United States Constitution that says you got to live within your means, balance your budget every year. We know it works in Wyoming. Low taxes, reasonable regulations, and living within your means.
John, this all is, it makes perfect sense. Makes very much a lot of sense to me and to you and to the folks down the street. But somehow, when it gets to Washington, it loses itself in translation. When you go to these other senators, when we go to Congress, we look at our congressmen and women to do something about this. Nothing seems to get done. It's just a lesson in futility. We can talk about it all day long, but nothing seems to change.
It can't be a lesson to futility because our future depends upon it. Most people say, and this happened yesterday in Douglas at the American Legion, a man said, I'm not worried about me. I'm going to be okay. He said, I'm worried about my kids and grandkids. This is a debt that is going to be on their backs. That's the big problem here is what's the future of America look like when we continue to borrow and spend at the rate we do. So I think that's going to be a fundamental issue of this election nationally, across the country, when people are running for office and saying, no, we need to, quote, invest more or spend more versus we have to live within our means. And, whether it's the president or vice president making their speeches and condemning free enterprise and the people that have made this country great, it's almost they're trying to embarrass people for success. And we in Wyoming have such a strong individual work ethic, rugged individualists, and we believe in earned success. And what we want in Wyoming is just an equal opportunity, not equal results, but an equal opportunity to work hard and succeed and notice the fruits of our labor. The regulations coming out of Washington, and I talk to folks in Gillette, they're worried about coal or the regulations coming out against coal-fired power plants. There's people around are noticing pain at the pump as well as pain at the plug because electricity rates are going up as it's making it harder and harder to use coal to generate electricity. And coal is the most available, affordable, reliable, and secure source of energy. And yet, we're going hat in hand to Saudi Arabia saying pump more, and we're telling Canada we don't want the Keystone XL pipeline. I don't know what this administration is thinking. We need to focus on energy security, and the president talks about renewable energy and his focus on green energy, and we need it all, Brian. We need it all. We have the wind turbines out beyond the cemetery. Saw those yesterday. When I think of all of this green energy, I think of it as an add-on, not kind of instead of. So to me, it should supplement what we have now with the fossil fuels, not substitute for fossil fuels, because even the president's own energy administration says that 25 years from now, still renewable energy in the United States is only going to be 16% of the energy, so 84% from nuclear and fossil fuels. We need it all, and we have it in Wyoming, and that's what I feel I need to protect every day.
I know filing deadlines happen here at the end of the month. I know that one challenger has filed and has raised his head. Are there others out there that you're aware of that you will see?
Well, the deadline is I think Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock. The beauty of Wyoming is anybody can walk into the Secretary of State's office who's a resident of the state, fill out the paperwork, pay a fee, and they're on the ballot for anything, whether it be U.S. Senate, Congress, State Senate, House, any of the opportunities are out there, and I'm sure many people are going to be filing for all of those offices between now and the end of the week.
Keep in mind there are plenty of opportunity if you would like to be involved, city council to county commissioners to precinct committeemen and committee women. Get out there and file and be a part of the process, be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, right, John? John, congratulations to you again on your decision to run once again. I know it becomes official noontime today at Max Maxfield's office, but thanks so much for stopping by and giving us the heads up this morning.
Thank you, Brian.
Pass along our best to Bobby
I'll
and to Bobby's mom, and a happy birthday to her up Thermopolis Way.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon. Thank you. That is Senator John Barrasso with the announcement of his running for re-election for the U.S. Senate this fall. More on that, no doubt, in the upcoming months here on 1030 KTWO.